सौन्दर्यलहरी कर्त्रे सर्वमङ्गलदायिने शङ्कराचार्यवर्याय यतिराजाय ते नमः। सौन्दर्यलहरी श्लोका 86। मृषा कृत्वा गोत्रस्खलनम् अथ वैलक्ष्यनमितं ललाटे भर्तारं चरणकमले ताडयति ते चिरादन्तःशल्यं दहनकृतम् उन्मूलितवता तुलाकोटिक्वाणैः किलिकिलितमीशानरिपुणा। The first line, third word has Padavibhaga, Gotraskhalanam atha. Then third line, first word, Chirat Antashalyam, Dahanakritam Unmulitavata. Then the last word, fourth line, Kilikilitam Ishana Ripuna. Now Anvaya, He Bhagavati, Mrisha Gotraskhalanam atha Kritva वैलक्ष्यनमितं भर्तारं ते चरणकमले ललाटे ताडयति ईशानरिपुणा चिरात् दहनकृतम् अन्तःशल्यम् उन्मूलितवता तुलाकोटिक्वाणैः किलिकिलितम्. So this shloka also has a beautiful description of the lotus feet of Bhagavati. He Bhagavati, Mrisha, inadvertently, Gotraskhalanam, mentioning another person's name by error. That is, Lord Shiva mentioned the name of Ganga instead of Parvati. Kritva, having done so, atha, then, Vailakshya Namitam. Then Lord Shiva is supposed to have bowed down to Devi's feet in embarrassment. Bhartaram, that husband Parameshwara, te, your Bhagavati, Charanakamale, lotus feet, lalate tadayati, you hit him on the forehead. Ishana Ripuna, that means by Manmatha, Chirat, since long time, Dahana Kritam, holding on to the sad feeling of being burnt to ashes by Lord Shiva, such a Manmatha, Antashalyam, the feeling of having been pained like the pricking of an arrow, unmolitavata, trying to get it out, tulakotikwanaihi, sound made by the anklets, nupuradhvanihi, kilikilitam, was as though laughed at by such a sound. There are many interpretations for this incident of how Devi appears to have hit Lord Shiva on the forehead. We will look at one very interesting interpretation. Ka is the first syllable of Kadi Vidya. It takes the meaning of Devi as Ichha Shakti, because she is the primary cause for the birth of the creator aspect. Srishtikarta, that is Chaturmukha Brahmaji, and the same is told by Tripuratapini Upanishad as Sa eko deva shivarupi drishyattvena vikasate yatishu yajneshu yogishu kamayate kamam jayate saeva niranjanaha akamatvena vijrumbhate akachatapayashan srijate tasmat ishvaraha kamaha vijayate tat paribhashaya kamaha kakaram vyapnoti. This means Paramatma as Shiva is visible to all in the form of Drishya, that is, all that is seen as Jagat is Shiva. He creates a desire, Kama, in the Yatis means Sannyasis, then Yajnas and Yogis. Thus, desire or Kama is born. This is known as Ichha Shakti. But Shiva himself remains Niranjanaha, unattached, as one without desire, akamatvena. He creates a class of vowels and consonants, avarga, kavarga, chavarga, tavarga, tavarga, pavarga, yavarga and shavarga. So Ishvara is also known as Kamana. This implies that Kamaha pervades the Kakara. Srishti Shakti cannot happen without Kama Shakti. As ordinary desire, it is referred to by the word kamana. Also, the samskara or impressions leading to birth are said to be kama samskara. This kama samskara is a shakti for Srishti Karya governed by Shiva. When this kama shakti takes the viruddha form or opposite meaning, which is called in Sanskrit as pratiprasava artha, then it is known by the word Shiva. Srishti or Prabhavaha, which is creation, and Layaha or dissolution are mutually opposite in nature. In the state of Samadhi, Kama is enemy to Shiva. The same Kama in Srishtikala takes the form of Shakti, which is the other half of Shiva and helps in creation. The Kama who was burnt by Shiva in Samadhi Kala, the same Kama in Srishti Kala laughs at Shiva. This is the meaning implied in the verse by the words Tulakoti Kvanaihi. Kilikilitam Ishana Ripuna. The sound of the tingling anklets, instruments used as accompaniments, these are all favorable in the act of dance recital. But the same sounds are a hindrance for meditation, dhyana. Kamadeva being happy is indicated by the tingling of the anklets. Now, the mind becoming silenced and getting expressed take place in the Ajna Chakra. In Anahata Chakra, it is said to be Ishvara. In Vishuddhi Chakra, it is said to be Sadashiva. And in Ajna Chakra, it is said to be Shiva. This is the sthiti or placement of Ishvara, Sadashiva and Shiva. It can be said that Shambhavi Mudra, that is a mudra in which the external eye is open but vision is only internal. This paves the way to Samadhi. When the mind relates with external objects, Shakti flows downwards. And in this state, Devi's Charanatadana on Shiva's Lalata, that is her feet inadvertently hitting Shiva's forehead, is in the downward direction. Then the sound of anklets is like the echo of Manmatha's laughter. Yogis practicing Shambhavi Mudra will be free from any kind of internal desire. This is the meaning pointed out by the word Unmolitavata. Unmolanam means destroying completely without any traces of the root. In essence, Manmatha is useful in Srishti Prakriya. So even if burnt to ashes, he appears to laugh. Saundarya Lahari, Shloka 87. Himani hantavyam himagirinivasaikachaturau nishayam nidranam nishicharamabhage cha vishadau varam lakshmi patram shriyamati srijantau samainam sarojam tvatpadau janani jayataschitra kim. Look at the third line, third word for Padavibhaga, Shriyam Atisrijantau. Fourth line, second word, Tvat Padau. Then Jayataha Chitram Iha. Anvaya, He Janani, Himagiri Nivasaika Chaturau, Nishi Charamabhage cha Vishadau, Samainam, Shriyam Atisrijantau Tvat Padau, Himani Hantavyam Nishayam, Nidranam, Varam Lakshmi Patram, Sarojam, Jayataha, Kim Iha Chitram. In this shloka, Bhagavatpada describes Bhagavati's feet with many adjectives. He Janani, O mother, Himagiri Nivasaika Chaturau. Hima means snow, Giri mountain, Nivasa living, Eka Chaturau very adapted. One who is very acclimatized to living a life in the snow-clad mountains. Nishicha at night also. Charamabhage the last part of the night, that is at dawn also. Vishadam continuing to shine with the same brilliance. Samayinam sadhakas practicing samayachara, that is internal worship. Shriyam, wealth. Atisrijantau, blessing them with much more than what they wish for. Tvat padau, are those your feet. Himani hantavyam, that which can destroy excessive snow. Nishayam, at night. Nidranam, those who are asleep. Varam, the greatest. Lakshmi patram, abode of goddess Lakshmi. Sarojam, the lotus. Jayataha, excels, that is saying that your feet excel even the lotus in beauty and greatness. Iha, in this subject matter. Kim chitram, what is an exaggeration, that is it is not surprising, which means it is appropriate to say so. In this verse, the first part of each quarter describes the lotus and the next part Devi's lotus feet. That is Himani Hantavyam, Nishayam Nidranam, Varam Lakshmi Patram. These three describe Sarojam, the lotus. Then the words Himagiri Nivasaika Chaturau, Nishicharama Bhage cha Vishadau, Samayinam Shriyamati Srijantau describe Tvat Padau, Devi's lotus feet. The word construction itself in this verse is very unique and significant. Conventionally, Devi's feet are compared to the lotus and verbalized as Pada Padmam, Pada Kamalam, Padambujam, etc. This is how popularly her feet are described, meaning to say that the beauty of lotus is seen in Devi's feet also. But here in this verse, the attributes qualifying Devi's feet far excel the beauty of lotus. This is not surprising because such is the greatness of her feet. They are so superior that the probability of identity to any worldly object is impossible. Generally, lotus flower cannot withstand excessive snowfall. It will wither away. Lotus blossoms when the sun shines and the petals close after sunset. Also, the lotus is said to be the abode for goddess Lakshmi. But the flower itself cannot give any wealth, whereas Bhagavati's lotus feet are always in mountain snow and yet they continue to look fresh, bright and beautiful. Also, whether night, dawn or day, always her feet are resplendent. Another distinction is the sadhakas of Samayachara, that is those who internally meditate on Devi's feet, they are blessed with much more than what they desire for. In essence, it is not an exaggeration to say that Devi's feet far excel the capability and beauty of the ordinary lotus. The meaning expressed by the words Shriyam Atisrijantau Samayinam. The same was mentioned in an earlier verse by the words Bhayat Tratum Datum Phalamapicha Vancha Samadhikam. The same meaning is brought out in a short narration in Durga Saptashati. Suratha and Samadhi were two people who performed tapas for 3 years. Suratha was a king who lost his kingdom and everything. So he meditated desiring to regain his kingdom. Samadhi is a person who meditated to gain moksha. Devi blessed Suratha not only with his kingdom but also in his next life she made him a Manu, which he did not ask for. That is, it implies Devi gave him much more than what he prayed for. Vancha samadhikam phalam. Thus, the verse is an expression of the ultimate superiority of Devi's feet. There can be no object which can be compared to meditating on Devi's feet. That is the reason Bhagavad Pada mentions the exaggerated assertion that Janani Tvatpadau Jayataha Iha Kimchit. Saundarya Lahari, Shloka 88. Padam te kirtinam prapadamapadam devi vipadam katham neetam sadbhihi kathina kamathi karparatulam katham va bahubhyam upayamanakale purabhida yadadaya nyastam drishadi dayamanena manasa. For Padavibhaga, Please look at the fourth word, first line, prapadam, apadam. Then last line, first word, yat adaya. Now we will look at the Anvaya. He Devi, Kirtinam padam vipadam apadam te prapadam sadbhihi kathina kamathi karparatulam katham neetam dayamanena manasa purabhida upayamana kale bahubhyam yad adaya katham va drishadi nyastam. In this shloka, Bhagavad-pada has described Devi's forefoot, the front part of the foot. Hey Devi, Kirti Nam, for fame and praise, Padam, the abode, Vipadam, for disaster, Apadam, not giving support or place. That is, disasters never happen. Te, your Bhagavati, Prapadam, the forefoot, Sadbhihi, by great poets, Kathina Kamathi Karparatulam. Kathina is hardened, Kamathi is tortoise, Karpara is tortoise shell, Tulam, comparison. That is, comparing to the hardened shell of the tortoise. Katham, how, Neetam, did it happen? How did the poet compare Devi's forefoot with the hard tortoise shell? This subject matter is mentioned in Lalita Sahasranama by the words Gudha Gulpa Kurma Prishtha Jayishnu Prapadanvita. Also, Upayamana Kale, at the time of marriage, Purabhida, by Parameshwara who destroyed Tripurasura, Dayamanena, with a compassionate Manasa, kind mind, Yat, that forefoot portion, Bahubhyam, with his own two hands, Adaya, lifting it up, Drishadi, on stone, Kathamva, how could he, Nyastam, have placed it upon? Bhagavati's forefoot is very tender and soft. Poets comparing that tender, soft forefoot with the hardened tortoise shell does not sound appropriate. Also, the forefoot of Devi lifted and placed on the grinding stone is also inappropriate. Devi's forefoot will give plenty of fame to the devotees. It has the power to remove all dangerous situations. Parameshwara himself offers prayer to Devi. That is, here Pada Puja means prayer. He says, O Parameshwari, I am the Grihastha, householder of the house called Brahmanda. You are the Grihini residing in that house. Without being affected by Maya, I will meditate on Parabrahman and you have to sustain and protect the creation. My work also you have to carry out. In the world, household duties are carried out by Yajamana and Grihini. But here, I will remain distanced and you have to shoulder all the responsibilities. I will remain a witness to all those activities. As though saying this, Parameshwara holds Devi's forefoot at the time of marriage. Traditionally, women are said to touch husband's feet seeking his blessings. Here, how is it appropriate to allow husband to touch the feet of his wife is a question that arises. In this context, there is a Smriti Vachana which says, Sarvangeshu striyo medhyaha tirthabhutascha taha yataha ashvastu mukhato medhya gavo medhyastu prishtataha brahmanah padato medhyaha striyo medhyastu sarvataha. Women are said to be pure in all aspects. They are equal to the purifying waters, tirthabhutaha. A horse's face is pure, ashvaha mukhato medhyaha. For cows, the back portion is said to be pure, gavaha prishtataha. The feet of a brahmana is pure, brahmanaha padataha medhyaha. But all parts of the body of a woman are pure. Striyah sarvatah medhyaha. So it is not a defect to hold a woman's feet at the time of marriage. According to tradition, the toe of a wife is held during the marriage ceremony and the husband says the mantra Atisthemam ashmanam ashma ivatvam sthira bhava, and then the feet are placed on a hard grinding stone. Meaning of the mantra is, in the life of marriage, you should be like a stone bearing all the challenges. At the time of marriage, the divine entities, Chandra, Gandharva, and Yajna Purushas are said to bestow boons on the bride, like Shuchitva, purity always, clean, clear voice, no defects accruing upon the woman when she eats any kind of food. These are all the blessings the bride receives. This is mentioned in the Dharma Shastra. Saundarya Lahari, Shloka 89. Nakhairnakastrinam karakamala sankocha sashibhihi tarunam divyanam hasataivate chandi charanau phalani swasthebhyah kisalaya karagrena dadatam daridrebhyo bhadram shriyamanisham annaya dadatau. The first word in the first line for Padavibhaga, Nakhaihi Nakastrinam. All the other words are Samastapadam. Anvaya. He Chandi. Kisalaya Karagrena Swasthebhyah Phalani Dadatam Divyanam Tarunam Daridrebhyah Bhadram Shriyam Anisham Annaya Dadatau Te Charanau Nakastrinam Karakamala Sankocha Sashibhihi Nakhaihi Hasata Iva. In this shloka, Bhagavad-pada explains the glory of Devi's feet, Pada Kamalam, by explaining the greatness of the Kalpavriksham and then Bhagavati's feet first, then highlighting how different they are. Devi is addressed as He Chandi, which means one who gets angry. How is this Sambodhana appropriate for Devi? It means when Devi's devotees face difficulties and painful challenges, she expresses her anger by destroying the difficulties. That Bhagavati as Chandi is addressed here. Kisalaya Karagrena, with the tip of the fingers resembling young tender shoots. Swasthebhyah. Swaha means Swarga, heaven. Swasthaha means those residing in heaven. Swasthebhyah, for those who are residing in heaven. Phalani, desires that are wished for. Dadatam, the giver. Divyanam, those which are in heaven. Tarunam, the kalpavrikshas, that is the wish fulfilling trees. On seeing them, daridrebhyah, even to those who are very poor and helpless. Bhadram, that which is auspicious, and more of Shriyam, wealth. Anisham, always. Annaya, immediately, without delay. Or Shighram, Dadatau, with the capability of giving. Te, that your. Charanau, feet. Nakastrinam, Naka means Swarga. So Nakastrinam means women in heaven or Devaloka. Kara Kamala Sankocha Sashibhihi. Karaha eva Kamalani. The hands are lotuses. Tesham Sankoche. In bringing them to a closing gesture. Sashibhihi, resembling the moon. Nakhaihi, by your fingernails. Hasataha iva, as though being laughed at. The wish-fulfilling trees, Kalpavriksha in Devaloka, with their sprouts or tender shoots, the sprouts are likened to hands, not just the hands, but the tip of the fingernails, which implies that the shoots are very young. They are just about visible. With them fulfilling the desires of those who are residing in heaven, that is only when they pray for wishes to be fulfilled, but Devi's feet, Pada Kamala, grants the desire sought by all. Prayers by those who are in heaven as well as by those who are very needy in this world. Not only that, more than what is desired for are fulfilled immediately. That is, as soon as the prayers are offered. Such is the glory of Devi's feet. In other words, Devi's lotus feet are more glorious and capable than the Kalpavriksha. The mention of young sprouts as the instrument for giving implies that the source is limited. Also, saying that only those who seek will receive denotes a limit in the number of devotees whose wishes are fulfilled. Whereas, mention of Devis Te Charanau Dadatau implies the limitlessness of the source, from which it also follows that the receivers are also many. That is, swasthebhyah daridrebhyah cha dadatam. This being the reality, Devi's feet are said to laugh at the Kalpavriksha in diminution. Further, the brightness of Devi's toenails are described as the splendor of the moon, and this luster is mentioned as an expression of the laughter. In nature, lotus petals close when the moon rises. Similarly, the women in heaven, Devatas are said to bring their lotus like two hands together, appearing like a closed lotus, Namaskara Mudra, in the august presence of Devi. This is explained in this verse as the brilliance emitted by the toenails on Devi's feet causes the lotus hands of Devatas to close, forming the Namaskara Mudra. Prayers offered to Devi's lotus feet will bless the seeker with mukti itself, but Kalpavriksha will fade in capacity in this aspect because it gives only what is asked for. In a sense, the glory and majesty of Devi's lotus feet is very profound. They shower blessings on devotees, whether in heaven or in this earthly abode, at all times, in a way much more than asked for. Saundarya Lahari, Shloka 90. Dadane dinebhyah shriyamanishamashaanu sadrishim amandam saundarya prakaramakarandam vikirati tavasmin mandarastabaka subhage yatu charane nimajjan majjivaha karanacharana shatcharanatam. For Padavibhaga, please look at the third word in the first line. Shriyam, Anisham, Ashanu Sadrishim. Third line. Tava, Asmin, Mandaras Tavaka Subhage. Then the last line, first word. Nimajjan Majjivaha. Now Anvaya. Dinebhyaha Ashanu Sadrishim Sriyam Anisham Dadane Amandam Saundarya Prakaramakarandam Vikirati Mandarastabaka Subhage Asmin Tava Charane Karanacharanaha Majjivaha Nimajjan Shatcharanatam Yatu. In this shloka, Bhagavad-pada says, after offering prayers to Bhavani with the sthula sharira, that is use of the external physical features for performing puja, then he prays that may the jivas use their sukshma sharira or linga sharira, that is the subtle aspect of the body, which is the mind, to offer puja to Bhavani. In this worship, Bhagavati's charanau will be the dhyeya vastu. In other words, Sri Shankara prays that the jiva's mind should meditate on Bhagavati's lotus feet. Hey Bhagavati, dinebhyaha, for those who are economically poor, ashanu sadrishim, according to their desire, shriyam, wealth, dadane, giving, anisham, always, amandam, mandam means less, so amandam means in plenty. Saundarya prakara makarandam, saundarya is beauty, Prakara means samuha or group. Makarandam is the essence of the flowers. So, beauty put together and the essence drawn from that. Vikirati, essence is spread everywhere. Tava, by your, Bhagavati. And Mandara Subhage. Mandara is Kalpavriksha. Stabaka is a group. So, one who has the beauty and auspiciousness of the group of Kalpavrikshas put together is Mandara Subhage. Asmin, in this, Charane, your feet, Karana Charanaha, the feet made up of sense organs. In other words, sense organs are said to be the feet. Majjivaha, my Jivatma, Nimajjan, drowning, Shatcharanatam, the form of Brahmara or honeybee. Brahmara has 6 feet, therefore it has the synonym of Shatcharanaha. Yatu, may it become. That is, may I become the Brahmara in spirit and remain engrossed in your feet. Bhagavati is also called Parameshwari because, let us look at the word. Parama means ultimate or the most exalted. For all that exists, she is the ultimate cause. As the rudimentary cause, she has lordship over everything. So, she is Parameshwari. In meditating on that Parameshwari's feet, may this Jivatma's spiritual mind attain the nature of Brahmara. And the poet gives a reason. Brahmara collects honey from many flowers. It remains in each flower for a very short time because it is not satisfied with the taste of that honey. When it reaches the lotus flower and tastes the honey, it remains there without moving on to any other flower. It has 6 legs and so it is called Shatcharanaha. After dwelling through the ups and downs of samsara, this Jivatma, like the Brahmara, may it find eternal peace at your lotus feet, Devi, is the prayer. Here, Jiva means the Linga Sharira, that is the subtle body. The meaning of subtle should be understood as that which is known but not seen physically for direct perception. This subtle body has 6 senses, 5 jnanendriyas, and the 6th is the mind. How these senses are used by the yogi is explained. Eyes perceive Devi's physical form. The tongue sings verses of praise to Devi. And also, according to poetic convention, the tongue is used for the purpose of drinking the nectar flowing from Devi's lotus feet. Nose enjoys the fragrance coming from Devi's garlands. Ears listen to glories of Devi. Mind practices meditation on Devi. The sense of touch is used to feel the presence of Devi all around. Thus, the yogis engage their 6 senses on Devi. Similarly, may my Indriyas, Karana Charanaha, also be engrossed in your lotus feet. Now, here the word feet is used. Let's look at that word. We know that feet imply moving. In the word Karana Charana, mention of Charana gives the meaning of the 6 senses are said to be the feet. May the senses move around in the meditation of your feet is the meaning. Brahmara finds its resting place in the lotus. Similarly here, Devi's lotus feet is the resting place for the Jivatma, which is mentioned as Mandaras Tabaka Subhaga. It means it can give anything wished for because it is a group of wish fulfilling trees put together in one place. Therefore, Devi's feet is Mandaras Tabaka Subhaga. And after reaching her feet, the mind can rest there, not having to move anywhere else. So, may none of the external objects touch this mind or attract this mind, thus allowing me, the Jivatma's Linga Sharira, to remain steady in the seat of meditation on Devi's lotus feet. This is the nature of prayer in this verse by Sri Shankara Bhagavad Pada.